So in this video, we're looking at 11 different side hustles that you can implement to make some extra money in this coming year. Now, you don't have to worry. We're not going to tell you the simple ones like take online surveys, which I don't think those even really work very much anyway, or walk dogs. We've heard a lot of these basic side hustles and side jobs. Today, what I wanted to do is introduce you to 11 different side hustles or ways to make some extra money that maybe you haven't thought about in the past or you haven't seen them in a pretty long time. And hopefully, it's with my hopes that it can spark some ideas within you that you can say, you know what, that's a great idea. I'm going to go run with this. I think you're going to find that there's going to be different options for different people within this video. Sometimes people want to just work from their laptop. Other people might be really good with their hands and maybe you want to do some physical labor. So there's going to be something in there for everybody. So if you're new here to the channel and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We just hit 500 subscribers on the Dollar Guide channel here. I'm excited. Hopefully we can hit 1,000 within the next month or so. So every new subscriber helps. Okay, so let's get started with this. And we're going to go through 1 through 11, not in any particular order, but let's start with the first one here, which is going to be a personal trainer. Now you see how this kind of maybe fits into one certain category and maybe you say that, hey, you know, this isn't me. Well, you can just skip ahead a minute or two and find the next one. But personal trainers, look, they can make a lot of money and their schedules tend to be pretty flexible, meaning that you can probably decide when you want to work as a personal trainer, who you want to bring on as new clients. And so if you find yourself being somebody who's already going to the gym all the time, imagine if you can get paid a lot of money by just going to the gym and also maybe lifting with somebody at the gym. You know, I know for me personally, I really don't have a lot of motivation to go to the gym and to work out a lot. And so paying for a personal trainer is something that I would certainly consider. And I know a lot of people who are really big into business or in their jobs, or maybe they just don't have a lot of time or the diligence in their schedule to be able to actually go and work out, and they need somebody to kind of push them. I know that I'd certainly be willing to pay for that. And personal trainers can make quite a bit of money, well upwards of $20 or $25, $30 per hour or even more by using it as a side job on the weekends or after work, after your regular job, or you can make it a full-time job. All right, so the next side hustle is to become a wedding photographer or an event photographer. Now, big disclaimer here, this is not something that you can just pick up a camera and just start taking pictures and suddenly you are a photographer making $5,000 for a wedding. It takes a really long time to build up a skill of photography, so I don't want to downplay it, but I have a couple of friends who do this on their weekends. They will be wedding photographers. They've been doing this for years and years, so like I said, you can't just pick it up and decide to be a wedding photographer. You don't want to ruin somebody's wedding, but if you're already a skilled photographer or if you're willing to learn it, wedding photographers can make anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 for a weekend for a wedding. And if you do that maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times within a year, you can end up paying your rent, paying your mortgage simply from shooting some of these weddings with your camera. And it doesn't have to be simply just weddings. You could choose to maybe that you want to do corporate headshots and charge people $50 a piece for those. Or maybe you want to take senior pictures for people. And so you can specialize in certain areas when it comes to photography, but cameras can equal dollar signs. I know with my camera here, it certainly has made me some money in the past few years. So cameras can be a really good investment for making some money. Okay, the next option is to consider renting your apartment or your house on Airbnb. But here's the thing that most people don't think about. They think, oh, I live in my apartment. How can I rent it out on Airbnb? I have friends who live in New York or in San Francisco in certain areas that are really expensive. And when they go on vacation, they rent out their apartment for a week or for 2 weeks, and they can get a lot of money that covers their entire rent payment from Airbnb, especially during those holidays. Let's say that you live in New York and you're going back to your family's house for Christmas and New Year's, and you live in Midtown. Well, you can end up renting that out on Airbnb for $2,000 or $3,000 for a couple of weeks in Midtown for people who want to go to New York for New Year's Eve. And so you see how that really kind of plays in there, where you don't have to necessarily be like a primary Airbnb host. You can just post it to there whenever you find that you're not going to be around. Maybe you're going to be in Europe for a few weeks and you can post it on there and make some money, or at least pay your rent while you are not home. So that's certainly an idea there. Now, I wanted to bring up another one here, which is something that I believe pretty much everybody can do. And And I'm going to just say this right now that it's going to sound pretty basic, but I can tell you that I hire a lot of writers. And so freelance writing is a great opportunity. And there's a lot of different options when it comes to this, but I know personally we pay 6 or 7 different people to do freelance writing for us for our blogs. And we'll pay them a certain price per word, a certain amount of cents per word. And they'll go off and they'll write on their own time, and we'll just pay them every 2 weeks. And it's a great opportunity. Not saying that we're hiring. I don't think we really need any more writers right now, but I know there are plenty of blogs out there in the world, or different types of websites, even news that need writers, freelance writers. So you can certainly do that if you find yourself to be a pretty decent writer. Okay, the next option is for people who maybe already have a little bit of money, or you maybe have some access to some money in some way, or just save this idea for 5 or 10 years in the future if you don't have any money at the moment. And that is by doing some type of raw land flipping. So when I say this, what I mean is that you could buy, say, 1,000 acres of land. And then you could subdivide that land and sell each one of those plots. And you can say from that 1,000-acre piece of land, you could sell 50-acre plots. And you could sell 20 50-acre plots for a higher price per acre than what you bought it at. So for example, like I said that you bought 1,000 acres for $500 per acre. So it's $500,000. I know most of us don't have that kind of money just sitting around. I certainly don't. But let's say that you spent $500,000 on it, and then you sold each one of those 50-acre plots for maybe $1,000 per acre, and you double the price, and you were able to make money off of that. So start to use that idea. It doesn't have to just be with raw land. You can do it with houses. You can buy a beaten down house, a house that's kind of dilapidated, and you can fix it up and you can flip it. And I know some people who make money with that, and it works pretty well. Okay, the next opportunity is to do some types of sports officiating, so you can become a sports official. I think this is a really great opportunity. I know that my uncle does this. He's a baseball umpire, and I think he'll maybe get $60 or $70 per baseball game, and he'll do 2 back-to-back baseball games on like a Friday afternoon or on a Saturday during the day. And he really just loves baseball. So if you find that you really love a sport, maybe you love football, you love basketball, you used to play it, and you want to make some money off of it, you can just become a referee or a sports official. There certainly is a process to that. It's not like you can just show up one day and start making money. You're gonna have to go through some training. But I think it's a really rewarding job. It's fun, it's active, you get to be outside, and you get to feel like you're kind of playing sports and you're part of the sport once again, which I think is really just great. I know that I would love to do that at some point in the future if I have time. You're not going to become rich off of this, but you can make maybe $100 or $200 extra per week, hopefully, while also it being somewhat of your passion. All right, so the next opportunity is to be part of certain types of medical studies and different types of studies, typically conducted by universities. I know when I was at Penn State, when I was in college a couple years ago, I would do this for money all the time, and they were just the weirdest medical experiments that they would do on me. I don't know if I would recommend this to you necessarily, but some of them I found were pretty interesting. Like I would have to eat strawberry yogurt for 2 weeks or something, or just some strange things. Now there are even riskier ones where you get random weird shots and different types of medicines that they give you, and you can get paid a lot of money for that. You kind of have to determine what's worth it for you and what's not. For me, some of the basic ones that I was in didn't seem very dangerous, like the ones where I had to eat strawberry yogurt, or you have to drink cranberry juice for 3 weeks. There's really weird ones. Go to your local university's website and look at their different studies that they're running, and sometimes you'll see that they're offering to pay money for them. I know I've gotten, probably when I was in college, I probably got a couple $1,000s from some of these different types of medical studies that I was taking part in. So that's always an option if you're looking for some extra money. So a really simple opportunity as well is consulting, specifically with a company like Clarity.fm. Now, they're not sponsoring this video. I've just used them personally quite a bit when I would consult for YouTube, because I have a number of YouTube channels with a couple million subscribers. And so people would go onto Clarity.fm and they would book a call with me, a consulting call where I would charge hundreds of dollars per hour to teach them about how to start YouTube channels. I don't really do it anymore because I have just other things that I'm working on. But if you find that you're skilled in anything whatsoever, especially though marketing, or maybe you are a great public speaker, or maybe you're a great writer, or you're great with business, or you're great in a certain area, you can become a consultant, do it on your own time through Clarity FM, or even just through your own platform, or even through something like Upwork if you wanted to, but use your skills. I know you're skilled in something. I know you're passionate about something. Maybe it's something really obscure, like you're really good at raising goats, and you understand everything there is to know about them. There's going to be money in that somewhere. There's going to be people who want to learn about goats. So you see how that goes. Okay, arguably my favorite on this entire list is to sell study guides to college students. And so I think about when I was at Penn State, there was a really great company that would sell study guides at the end of the semester for $50 for a packet for every class that was offered by the university. And this was really, really profitable for them. You know, I probably should have talked to the actual owners. I don't know if they would have told me how much they were making, but I remember sitting in some of these rooms and looking around and seeing thousands of kids with these $50 packets that they bought. I mean, some of these study companies where they're selling these study packets, like exam prep packets, are pulling in hundreds of thousands, or if not millions of dollars from their operation. So I think it's a pretty amazing opportunity, especially if you're in college, or if you're in academics, or you don't even have to be part of that. You can just hang out on a college campus and sell these. No, that's probably a bad idea. Don't hang out on a college campus and sell these if you don't go to that college. But you see what I'm saying, where if you can find a way to get into that market, there's a lot of money there by selling study guides for exams for a lot of classes at universities. So you'll notice that there's probably a lot of money to be made at your university, even if you don't go there. So that's just a kind of an interesting thing that I've noticed when I was in college. And so the other one that I want to share with you is one of my close friends, who's now my close friend. What he does is he goes to car auctions and he buys cars that don't really need a ton of work, and then he'll just fix them up a little bit, maybe clean them up a little bit, maybe fix a couple of minor problems, and then he will resell those cars at a much higher price and make a pretty good profit. It's sort of like his weekend hobby thing that he does, that he uses, and he takes all of that money that he makes from selling cars and he goes and uses it for vacations. Like he just got back from Hawaii the other week, and it was totally funded by his car flipping operation, where he would go to auctions. The key is to go to car auctions, buy a car there, and then sell it. And I don't think he actually has like a dealer license, because he doesn't sell over a certain amount of cars per year, but you could certainly explore that opportunity as well. Okay, and the last one that I wanted to share with you is by doing a very, very simple flipping items. So similar to what we talked about with cars, I did this all the time when I was younger. I would go to auctions, I would buy things, and I would resell them on Craigslist. Today, you'd probably use like Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp or Letgo or some of these different apps that you can use, but it's a really simple tactic. You go to an auction, you buy items, or you go to Goodwill, you go to Salvation Army, you go to yard sales, you buy items, you know what the price of those items are, and then you go and you flip them, you sell them for a lot more. And I think back to when I was doing this, one of my biggest opportunities was in farm equipment, because I grew up in an agricultural setting, so I understood how much farm equipment was worth. So when I would go to these auctions, I knew, okay, you know what, that ladder right there, I can sell that ladder for $200, and I can pick it up for $5. I can buy it for $5, and I can sell for $200. Great margins on some of those things. So look at what you're good at. Look at what you already know. Maybe you love sports cards. Maybe you love video games. And so you go to an auction, you notice those, you know how much they're worth, or you can just look it up on your phone and then figure out, hey, how much can I resell this for on eBay, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, whatever it might be. Very simple tactic. My favorite thing to do on weekends. I don't do it as much anymore, but it definitely paid for a lot of my college education by going to auctions and flipping items. So hopefully you found some value in this video. If you did, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more videos like this. I really appreciate you watching all the way through, and I wish you the best.